Wake up, boy. Wake up. You're live on audio. You're live on audio. You're live on video too. Oh, dear me. Yesterday I was freezing with multiple layers on here in London for some reason. And tired, so I just wrapped up under them. Today I'm equally tired because it's now roasting.
Oh no.
It is a change that does not make any intelligent sense. It's like going from winter to summer overnight. Go figure, go figure. So, yep, I shall. James says you're now live on audio. So I will say, yes, wake up, self, wake up, self.
3, 2,
Talking of
1.
James. Yeah, talking of James. Next door to me here is my right hand man, James Atlloud, fiddler of knobs and so a connoisseur of sitting positions. Yes. Hello, James.
Oh, hello, Mal. Nice week for a nice way to start a September. How does that sound?
Yeah, something like that.
Welcome to September.
Winter towards the summer. Yeah,
Right,
who
right.
knows? Who knows what's going on? Yes, indeed. Sort of. But we are on the first of the month, of course. 1st of September of 2024. At least I got the year right. Okay. Let's get going. My name, by the way, is Mal Burns. Now, my regular co-host Tosha is not with us today. Nothing to do with Labor Day, which has affected a lot of people, but in the States anyway. But she's had this technological disaster with her main computer and stuff like that. And it's being fixed, and she will be back for next week. But I've had a week of notice saying she won't be here today. And we don't actually have a fixed guest this week. So really, it's just come down to a short show with me and James here. So hope that's okay. As it were. The Inworld review, yeah. The Inworld review is about the open metaverse, which we call Open Simulator, and the Hypergrid. The Hypergrid connects a lot of different hundreds, maybe even thousands of different grids together, so you can move your avatar and your assets and everything from one grid to another. It's closely visually it resembles that old place called Second Life. You may have heard of it. It's sort of 21 years old now, in fact. But that's a walled garden, and you can't take your assets or anything out of it. Whereas Open Simulator and the Hypergrid allows you to connect lots and lots of different grids together, big ones, small ones. Some run commercially, some run on people's own computers. The whole works there, really. Okay, so as usual, we do have a little bit of news, tiny bit of news to open up the show with anyway. And I'll go to the big screen behind me, in fact, as opposed to the lovely little psychedelic thing I've got running behind us today. I have a link here to hypergridbusiness.com/2024/08 and then /OSFest, or one word, -2024-opens-4-builders-and-participants. I think you can just go to hypergridbusiness.com and hope for the best. Right. It's supposed from Maria Karloff, reportedly. It's more or less press release, I imagine, from what's her name? Lisa Langston. You see her on the picture on the right there. Basically, the virtual doors of a sort of Inworld celebration featuring all grids, actually, called the OS Fest 24 have swung open, welcoming creators, builders, merchants, performers, and sponsors to begin crafting their digital spaces. And it will be running from October the 4th through to October the 20th, offering a diverse platform for virtual exhibitions, performances, and commerce. This is completely separate from the major World's Fair thing, which is actually next year, and indeed the next of our. What's the name of our thing? HIE, Hypergrid International Business, both of which are actually next year. So this will be happening in October, and then a month or so after that, there'll be the Open Sim Community Conference, I suspect. So you can get parcels if you want to join in there. They're three United States dollars each for other grids or region owners, basically. And a limited number of free parcels available for exhibitors and merchants paid for by the sponsors. So I'm just reading out here. That's all you really know. You can check out the event's homepage, which I will do for you in a second. And well, you can read the blog here at Hypergrid Business, or you can actually go to the homepage, which is noisy. Oh, right, the adverts at the top there. Okay, pretty much the same thing that was in the press release, actually. But you'll find this at opensimfest.com. So all one word, opensimfest.com. So, right now, the other good news this week, however, is that on Wednesday at noon Pacific time, it's the return of our wonderful excursions thing called Hypergrid Safari. And I forget exactly where we're actually heading for this week, but let's just have a look. Terza, who you all know, of course, has her own blog about this at hgsafari.blogspot.com. And last Sunday, while we were on air, in fact, she posted one saying Safari Countdown, just to make sure we knew a week early or over a week early. Also, it's on the clubhouse where it all begins. Basically, everybody goes to the clubhouse, and then we find out which two locations we're going to be going to and jump over there as a group. The clubhouse is now located on grid.hgsafari.org, and then port number is 58002. So that's a bit of an unusual 5 figures amongst other things. So 58002. And then the region, of course, is called Hypergrid Safari. Well, it's not. It's called HG Space Safari. Better get that right, hadn't I? Okay. So 10 weeks of visits to different grids and regions all over OpenSim. Art and tech builds, real places, fiction and fantasy, an opportunity to make new friends, meet builders, learn about projects, passions, and of course problems that all come together to make up the OpenSim experience. And some pretty little pictures as usual from those. So in fact, we might as well have a proper look at those, hadn't we? Since they're there. There we go. Yeah. Oh, doesn't say, okay, it's going to work. Just take its time. I love the Safari bus, filthy ramshackle old bus, and it's got rockets underneath. Very, very steampunky, I guess you might say there. Right, so moving on. Right, midweek, another post there from M is for Music. This is looking at Molita Kwan, the avatar, who started 16 years ago. In Second Life, of all places. And she said it was pure boredom. Okay, I won't stay here more than 2 days, she said. And well, anyway, she found a way to OpenSim. And she's building a new, as yet unfinished gallery on the sim called Mortilla M. Right, now, I think that is on OS Grid. Yes, it is. So I've been going to a lot of places recently that are on OS Grid, which is where our studio here is based. So it makes teleporting quite a lot easier if you're not jumping on the Hypergrid, but that's not to say we shouldn't be. And yeah, so this post actually basically is an interview with her. And as you can see now, some pictures from exhibitions on the art sim and stuff. So I've got the feeling this might be one of the stops in the coming weeks on the safari, but I can't swear to that because I don't know, do I? And then finally, today, although I think it arrived last night actually, the OpenSim World's Fair. Now, this is not like OS Fest we were just talking about. This is OSWF for short. And last night, in fact, Saturday noon Pacific time, anyway, they had a meeting of people interested in helping with the project. So Kim Stark, Hashari Mahana, and Cooper Swizzle, of course, were all on hand with news confirming details and everything else. The meeting took place on Wolf Territories Grid, where they've actually got a huge sim set up for the event. And why not have a look at the pictures? That's what we always do here. That's just them having the meeting, more of them having the meeting. Actually, it's all having the meeting, but different times of day and different pictures, really. But a very big, well, like his shirt. Right. Sorry, distraction
That
there.
looked like an HIE booth.
I think it is.
Yeah, yeah.
They probably nicked our booth. Whether they've nicked our old one or the new one that
Or
Tosha
they're
made.
promoting it. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it's our new booths are all mesh and very simple, whereas we've had the other booths for a long while. But
Yeah, yeah.
I originally designed them in Prim, of course. So
Yep. Yep.
they're now mesh and very economical. I love clocks. I love that clock thing there. It's not like the ones we've got at HIE. It's actually spiraling in. Do you see?
Mm-hmm.
So it's formed a spiral, which is a funny way to have a clock, to be honest. But there you go. And then a bit more steampunk TikTok too, and they've also nicked. I think they've nicked these wheels from our HIE too. We still have them, but the new ones we have don't move. We rebuilt the whole thing,
Oh,
and the wheels are just there for visual consistency with the old regions. But anyway, this is all, as I said, for the World's Fair geeky thingy. What's it?
cool.
Right, so that's it for the new stuff, and particularly, of course, as well as that information from hgsafari.blogspot.com. You also should come to Safari at noon Pacific time. That's sort of about 8 or 9 p.m. in Britain and Europe, and see the first two stops we're going to be taking. Right now, as I say, it's just me and James today, so we're going to be talking a little bit over this. This one is just a slideshow I picked up on Inworld. This is an area on OS Grid called Treasure Trail Dude Ranch. Don't ask me who came up with that name, especially the dude in the middle. But Treasure Trail Dude Ranch, all one word. And yeah, these are just some pictures they put up to. I've converted them to a movie, in fact. So it's about 1 minute's worth of pictures of their region. I thought it is a bit Western cowboy sort of influence, but it's not a cowboy as such. And yeah, guy showing off his torso, I guess. Well, welcome size. Yeah, it's got that other cowboy feel there too. Oh, well, I guess it's just called the Dude's Ranch, you know. And yeah, oh, the wigwam's coming out, or whatever they call them. There it is in his boat. Nothing really spectacular, but I must say it's a nice looking sort of, place if you just want somewhere to sort of kind of wander around and enjoy the ambience. Definitely period based, as you can see. So, Treasure Trail Dude Ranch. What do you think, James?
Well, it's got some character.
Oh, you're so polite. Yes, it has. It has got some character. That's actually why I sort of clip the pictures and stuff. You know, it's the first one is the same. We're getting into more landscaping stuff here, and there is a treasure trail there, which I know very little about, but as I imagine is worth investigating. Okay, so got a few other things here. Okay. Next, just going to switch to a bit of music here. This is film from last month, early in August, in fact, of Smokefest 3 and show number 1. And I'm going to jump around in this bit because the music is, it's for all different tastes, really, but it certainly starts with music that's not mine. And of course, quite a bit of live action on the screens behind there too. Fortunately, here we are. We get something a bit more palatable as we get. Oh, it's only 2 minutes in actually. Late night feelings, very nice. All I have here is the film, so I don't. Apart from the DJ that was advertised a minute ago, I don't know who the actual performers are. But it's you can probably look it up in various places as Smokefest 3. Got a feeling it might be OS Grid 2, but I couldn't swear to it. It's got that wonderful sort of troubadour singer-songwriter feeling, and I always think it works very well in the virtual world. Much more effective than sort of people posing as miming to heavy metal, I should say. Okay, well, so Rico Rodex, that's quite an interesting name. Okay, so they had a bit of fun with that. I think we've seen enough of that, really. But interesting layout and stuff. You know, they had the screens, a bit like ours here, on each side were actually showing Outworld clips and stuff of bands and things. So there was a bit of a mixture, although that was mostly from what I could tell at the beginning. But the other thing that happened also at the beginning of the month is if you know the Grateful Dead, you probably know Jerry Garcia. And he's sadly passed away now, but it was his birthday party on August the 1st. And it was celebrated at the Sausalito Center for the Arts, in fact, in Inworld. I'm not sure what grid it was, but you may know from the past we have actually covered the region dedicated to Garcia and indeed his artwork, and we're still hoping to return there at some point with his because his wife is still around, and she has actually been in World, so we're hoping to get her along to at some point when we revisit them. Anyway, just to give you a sample of this, I mean, of course, being the Grateful Dead, the music is absolutely delightful, so a bit of an improvement on what we just had, I guess. You can probably tell, or maybe not, the logo in the top right corner is Neverworld, which is the name of the grid this was held on. Very unmistakable music, and want to jam along, don't I? Yeah. Very distinctive sound, and of course they have a successor band, Dead and Company. Of course, are keeping the tradition alive even without Jerry. And again, some photographic content too. Yeah. It's a long track, 17 minutes for this.
I think that screen, Mel, in the right is showing the live feed from Sausalito, which is where the music's coming from.
I'm sorry again. The light, sorry.
No, the screen on the right, Mal, is the live stream from the real life event in Sausalito. Yeah, okay.
Oh, yes. So the whole thing is sort of mixed together. Yeah, and I think it's Dead and Company playing the live band Dead and Company.
Yep.
I mean, it's still got Bob Weir in them, I think, and a lot of the original Dead. So they're all very good, and they had a season in Las Vegas, I think it is. Or is it Los Angeles? They this new place, the Sphere, which, if anything, is probably the closest real world thing you'll come to being in a virtual world, because you're in the middle of a sphere like a dome, and every inch of this huge dome is LCD screens, which you look at. I saw, I think it was U2's a clip from their season there, and when it started, you thought you were in this sort of arena, and you would look out and you could see, the road outside and things, because it's quite high and vertical, and you could see uh, Las Vegas, I think it is, outside the dome. But then the concert started, and you realize you weren't looking at any such thing. It was all an illusion. It was actually a film of outside that actually gradually morphed into, light show type sort of stuff. So people inside thought thought this invasion of visual effects was happening in the real world. But it was an illusion, because the stuff on the dome was, a virtual version of the real world. But anyway, it seems like a nice thing to have been at. Anyway, you can tell from those chords, actually, it's the same song for all 17 minutes. So there you go. Anyway, you'll find that on YouTube somewhere. I'm sure you look up Jay Garcia birthday or something. You'll find you find a lot of real world things as well. Now, somebody else we've had on the show in the past is a wonderful lady called Karima Hoisan. And she writes some poems and recites them in a wonderful, sort of husky, if not very dramatic voice, and makes pictures too. So this one's called Cosmos and Nova. And unfortunately, we tested it out before we came on air, and it all looks very wonderful, but to look at. But when the poetry starts, you can't really hear it that well, I'm afraid.
Once upon a time, on a beautiful island where it rained a lot, even raining frogs sometimes, and the shadow flyers kept them safe, two ducklings from the same mother, two eggs that hatched and were born. They looked very different, and they were very different, but they were brother and sister. And as they were just starting out to find out what life was all about, the shadow flyers always kept them safe. Cosmos was the boy duckling, and Nova was the girl duckling. They named themselves, as ducklings like to do, and the shadow flyers kept them safe. They stayed close to their mama and close to each other. Mixed in with the beauty of their pond were some dangers. They could not play with baby crocodile. Their mama warned them. Even with its baby teeth, it could bite, and they must never venture out as far as the dark woods. Mother crocodile lived there and was a very good hider and could frighten them. Even with all of that, life was amazing. They could visit Mama Loon on the other side of the flowers. She had a baby too, but it was so small it rode on her back. Swan was always gliding through and was nice to them. Life was peaceful, so peaceful. And the shadow flyers kept them safe. But one day a big wind came. They rushed off to find shelter with their mama. Everyone scattered, and there was lightning. And there was thunder. It was very loud and scary. But then it was over. and the skies cleared, and the shadow flyers flew over to make sure everyone was safe. Baby Crocodile and his little brother were safe. Mama Loon and her baby were safe. They hid with Swan. Mama Crocodile dove down deep and was safe. And then the artist returned. He had been making pictures in his chair, but left before the storm. Oh, he had 2 new pencil drawings. The ducklings were so surprised. He had drawn them. Cosmos and Nova were displayed on the dock. How exciting. And the best part, he brought breadcrumbs, lots of them, for everyone. All in all, it was an amazing day, and the shadow flyers kept them safe all night. And so did their mama.
So it's wonderful stuff. That reading, a story, it sort of makes it. You think it might. I mean, it's what they call machinima, basically, which is an overall phrase they use to describe cinema made within machine worlds, as it were. And that was almost like a children's fairy tale sort of feel to it. But all the environments you saw there and all the scripted movements and everything else, that's actually built in Open Simulator and filmed there. And it's really nice to see something that constructed. Now, of course, they immediately had to do this, and that's got followed up with part 2. And sorry, I'm going to play it.
Mama Duck now has 5 ducklings. They all swim around her. The white duckling asked Mama Duck, "Why are there shadow flyers in the sky? I'm afraid of them." Mama Duck says, "Well, they do look different, but that doesn't mean they're bad. You don't have to be afraid. I'm going to tell you a story. A long time ago, Grandma Fergie was in a new part of the pond when the big toad grabbed her. She cried out for help, and the shadow flyers came down right away and scared that toad off. He dropped Grandma Fergie and ran away. If those shadow flyers didn't save her, none of us would be here today." "Why?" said the black and white duckling. "Well, that's another story for another time." Cosmos asks, "Where do they come from? How did they get here?" "Well, no one really knows for sure," said Mama Duck, "but legend says the shadow people live close to us, but we can't see them. They do see us, but unlike us, they don't need food or water or sleep. They just need the sun. When they turn 12, they are each given a shadow flyer in a special ceremony. The shadow flyer connects to them. They teach them everything they know, but most importantly, to be very good and help all, especially the birds and animals like us. They dance and play in the sun, and they are now always part of them. They stay together day and night. They sit on pillows and meditate and connect with their flyers, and they are so happy together. But when the time comes, they choose a bright world where they can let their flyers fly free. They say it's hard for them to say goodbye as they have been together for almost a year. But they also say they will always feel connected in their insides. And the shadow flyers can do what they most love to do, fly together freely. They love to fly and fly around and around and help anything or anyone who needs it. It's an honor to be an island chosen by the shadow people. They come and they let their flyers go and say a prayer they will be safe and help and protect all living things. We are very lucky that they chose us. The ducklings were quiet for a while, thinking and swimming around. That story made me sleepy, said Nova. That's good, said Mama Duck, because it's getting to be bedtime. So tonight, when you see them fly over, just say, "Thank you, shadow flyers, for keeping us safe." Each duckling, in his or her way, said thank you to the shadow flyers for choosing their island. And when the mom sun started setting on the horizon, they were all bunched up close to Mama Duck. And by the time it was all dark, they were all almost asleep.
Huh. Well, reading the credits there, I noticed that some of that one was actually filmed in that other place. Yes, Karima is pretty active on all such places. So, I mean, if you're making a film, you might as well make it wherever you fancy, you know. It doesn't really matter. It's the film at the end of the day that is what counts. She also works with Dale Innes, who is credited there for scripting, but we have definitely in OpenSim. We've had her on the show, and there are various regions where our partner Dale in this enterprise, so to speak, as well as scripting, he's done these mid-journey kind of AI paintings and things. And it's not so long ago that we went and visited one of his galleries that she designed here on OpenSim. So you got to cross the different grids, really, haven't you? So I think that's about it. It's a very nice, sweet sort of thing. It's allowed us to sort of catch up, albeit a very short show, on some of the things we've got hanging around here that just haven't just quite fitted into recent shows, and they're in the sort of pending folders, I call it here. As I said earlier, next week is Wednesday at noon is the beginning of HG Safari, Hypergrid Safari once again, hosted by Tosha Ember, who you all know and love here. What should I say? On the safari, I normally make a point of filming, making some silent film of each destination when we get there. And we've often had the habit, not so much recently, of talking a little bit on each show about the previous week's safari, and we call it Safari Roundup. So we've got a nice little picture for that as well. Hopefully next week, as well as guests and whatever, we will also, we'll have Tosha back, and we'll also be able to talk about the safari in the week and show you some film and maybe pictures from that too. Plus, whatever other guests we might get to join in. So I've got a film I'm not going to show today, actually, after all, because it's about an hour, 20 minutes, and it's silent. And whether we have actually I can talk over it. I can talk forever, but James can, and we got nobody else here. So I think we better leave the silent footage alone. But hopefully you've enjoyed the little bits and pieces we put together for you today. And as I say, it's just been barely 30 minutes, actually. This makes a change. We're an hour away from our wolf howling.
Yeah, that's right.
This is very strange. I mean, I suppose we can go off and do something and wait an hour before we feed the wolf.
We'll just show blank screen for half an hour, for an hour. Or we can have the wolf. The wolf can yell now.
Yes, why not? Come on, wake up, Wolfie.
Let's see if I can find him. Come on, Wolfie.
Oh, well, I got him. Oh, that was quick. Yeah. How sweet. How sweet. Yes. I keep meaning to. I should be hitting my soundboard a bit more, shouldn't I?
Yeah, yeah.
Wrong button. We go out with a clap, don't we? Okay, so hope you've enjoyed what we've been able to bring you. And no guests to sort of profusely thank today. Looking forward to next week when I'm sure we'll have Tosha back with us. And of course, my thank you to the right-hand man, the man of many sittings, and knob fiddling and everything. You know the score. It's James Atlloud. James.
You could say many sits, but that might not go well over the air. The man of many sits.
Oh,
that could sound bad.
Okay. Why? No, that sounds okay.
Just don't drop an H in the middle of that word.
Oh, well, yes, in that case. Absolutely. Well, one has to sit to have a... Yes, I know what you mean.
That's right.
Yes. Sitting pretty, or should I say, no, I won't. Okay, we're out of here, I think. So wish you all a very good morning, a very good afternoon, a very good evening, and indeed a good tomorrow, depending on wherever and whenever you are. And for this week, at least, it's a wrap.